Morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Yes, welcome back to the morning show. And it's Friday. Rich, and I have to ask you, we know this is your favorite day, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so, and I think it is the favorite day of most. There, I know a couple of people who Monday is their favorite day. I don't know, something wrong with it. And I also had some friends that they used to hate Saturday because no school, no classes.
Some research needs to be done on those special individuals.
Those individuals. Alrighty, we have our guests.
Yes, we do. They are joining us virtually. We have Dr. Christia De Geer, the program coordinator at the Galen University in the Master of Social Work program, as well as Janine Caetano, the field supervisor. Good morning, ladies, and welcome.
Good morning on this Friday.
That's right, it's Friday.
Morning.
Are there any classes at Galen on Saturday?
There are classes at Galen on Saturday, but not in the MSW program. The MSW program is Monday through Friday.
Okay, what about Sunday? You have any classes on Sunday?
No classes on Sunday. That
classes on
is the
Sunday?
day of rest.
All right, well, but those who study online, can they study any day of the week if they want to? Can they take a class? How does that work?
Well, for the MSW program, we have Monday through Friday course online, but if they would like to study and do their homework, that is definitely open to every day of the week.
Do they have access to some of the lectures or something, like say on a Sunday?
Absolutely. So what we do in our program is we record the live lectures so students can go back and use them to refresh, to study. Maybe they missed something because they were going to get water or their internet
That's right.
cut out. They
Yeah.
can go back and review.
That's a good one. I wish I had that in my days. I wouldn't have failed so much. Good morning, ladies. Well, we're here to talk about the Masters in Social Work program and the structure of the program. Who will, I guess, Dr. De Geer, tell us about
Absolutely. So this program is very unique. We have two pathways. We have one pathway for advanced standing students who are students with their social work bachelor's degree. This program is 1 year long. It's a intensive elevated program with the understanding that they're already coming to us with a social work foundation. And then the 2 year program is for anybody else who has a different bachelor's degree other than social work. That first year lays that foundation, that critical knowledge of social work. But no matter what type of student you are, field placement is extremely important for social work. Field placement is an internship where you will be working with a local organization through partnership with Galen, conducting your social work internship, taking what you learn in the classroom and putting it into real life practice.
This field placement work, is it like only one semester, or is it throughout the entire program each semester?
Ms. Cayetano, would you like to step in for that one?
It's not a one-time program through the semester. It's throughout the entire duration of the program. So it's 1 full year, and for the regular standing students, it's 2 years.
So it would be an advantage if I was already in social work to take this course, wouldn't it?
It sure would, but it does work for students who are not in social work. So we make it work, but it is at the advanced level, you do have a advantage.
Okay. Social work, we're talking about the broad subject of social work. Are there, well, of course you have field work, which I guess you work in different areas, but are there specialized areas of social work we should know about?
Absolutely. So we have courses that range from the clinical practice for those students who want to become a independent mental health counselor. We have macro practice in policy and legal aspects of social work for those students who want to work more on the policy and organizational level. We have classes on school social work for those interested in working with the school children. So we have a really vast array of classes that help our students specialize depending on their area of interest. And also that field placement is where students specialize, right? So they come to us and say, I'm interested in working with the aging population, or I'm interested in working with, in clinical work or with children. We really strive to meet the needs in the interest areas. So they work with Ms. Cayetano in finding a placement that fits their want and need for more learning in their specialized area.
I guess there is a high demand for social workers in Belize.
Yes, there is a high demand and there's going to be continue to be a high demand. We find that the issues within our country or anywhere, it's becoming more and more complex and it requires more human resources to address the challenges that we're experiencing.
What
So the more social workers, the better it is for us.
What are some of these issues that are more pressing here in Belize? Because I know as you had mentioned, there's a wide category of them, but I'm sure that there are some that you have your eye on, particularly that you want to prepare these students for to be able to tackle.
You know, we,
Oh, go ahead. Okay, well, really, any of these issues that I think we talk a lot about on the news, we have socioeconomic issues in poverty, children growing up in trauma, adults trying to heal the trauma that they've experienced in their childhood. We have gang violence, intimate partner violence, all these different experiences, mental health, any of these issues where we're thinking, how do we as a people address these critical needs? The answer is social work. Social work is unique because it looks at the individual just like psychology, but it also takes into the environment and the world that the person is in. We look at racism, we look at classism and sexism, and we look at the larger scale social issues as well. So it's a really unique field to meet the needs of what's going on in Belize and worldwide right now.
And how long has this program been in existence? And I ask this because I would like to think that over the course of years, we've seen the way how we tackle these social issues has changed and evolved as we learn how to best approach them.
Absolutely. So we graduated our first cohort this last July. So we've been have 1 year of success. We graduated 10 Masters of Social Workers within Belize, which is a huge accomplishment. And one of our Masters of Social Workers, I like to brag a little bit, was valedictorian of all the graduate students of Galen. So they were very hard workers, this first cohort, very high bar they set, and they are now out there getting positions as upper level supervisors and already making some changes. So I'm very proud of them.
And because it's fairly new, I would like to think that the program is a little bit dynamic, meaning that you will go and evaluate what might have worked, what might not have worked, what new courses might need to be in, or how to enhance it to better prepare these students for the real world. Correct?
Absolutely. And one great thing about Galen is we are constantly doing that for all of our programs. How can we better this? How can we make the learning experience more hands-on, more enriching? So we are constantly doing this level of evaluation. And yes, of course, the first year is very much a learning experience, and we just continue to grow after that time period.
How do how does anyone interested enroll or make contact and say, I may have somebody listening who's never had anything to do with social work, say, hey, this sounds interesting. What's their first step? How do they get in touch with you, enroll, or what's your advice?
That's a really great first step is understanding that you have that interest, even if you've come from a completely different field. If you are pulled to say, I want to make a positive change in the social aspect of Belize or worldwide, wherever you may end up, you can do so by getting in contact with our wonderful, hardworking admissions team to start your application. Or if you have questions, you can contact them at admissions@galen.edu.bz or through the phone at 636-8881. And they're always on standby to answer any questions or to get you started on your application.
Okay. Janine, you mentioned earlier that social workers are needed and may be needed more. How does that reflect on our country, Belize? Are we less happy than we should be?
I don't think it's that we're less happy than we should be. We have a lot of social workers working in fields that they're not supposed to be working. They're doing something that is not social work. But coming with a social work background as well, we are at a shortage for social work as employees and within the mental health system. In fact, we know that all schools in Belize should have a social worker. They would benefit from a social worker so that we could address the upcoming issues within the schools. And so there are no social worker in every single school. And so there are areas in like that in which the social workers can work. So I'm hoping that that's something that whoever is at the top could look at, because we're having more and more social workers coming out qualified and competent enough to address the experiences and the trauma the society, especially the young children, are experienced within the school system. I know that social workers could be benefited in the social service area. There is, how can I put it? We will always need the social workers. So there's never going to be a day when we don't need them.
Okay, but does that mean the population is having more issues? Are we in trouble? That's why we need more social workers. How does that reflect on society?
Based on what I am seeing, yes, there are more complex issues coming up. And if we look at the media with all the violence that are taking place, violence against children, violence against women, there is a call for more social workers.
Okay. Is there like other, well, this is not medicine, but it is sort of to alleviate problems we may have. Is there a prevention factor in social work? Get in there before?
Yes, absolutely. So when I've conducted my research on gang-involved girls in Belize for my dissertation, it is found that the recommendation would be to put more social workers and funding into early childhood programs that help prevent childhood maltreatment and abuse, which was found to be specific factors that led to gang involvement for my research participants. So we can definitely look at a lot of our societal issues that most of the world is facing right now and look at it with a preventative mind, because it's easier to stop trauma than to heal trauma once it happened.
Okay.
So social workers are at that really wonderful intersection to be able to do that. What are the trauma experiences? How do we prevent them? And then how do we treat those who've already experienced the traumas that we are talking about?
Right. Social workers, as you had mentioned, they would assist people or help people with that may be facing socioeconomic problems, trauma, or gang violence, just to name a few. And we know that helping persons that might be afflicted by these would mean that they also might be feel the emotion, feel sympathy for them as well. Is there anywhere in this program that helps these social worker students that will enter into the work field to manage these emotions? Because I could imagine that there are plenty of cases where you have to learn how to separate the work that you do from the emotions that you feel.
Yes, and I absolutely love that question because we need to talk about it more and more. So, this program specifically has self-care and resilience building within the curriculum. So, our social work students have to take a two-class sequence that specifically focuses on trauma, and it wouldn't be a sequence, it wouldn't be a complete sequence if it didn't focus on how do we take care of ourselves. I like to explain it to my students like if we were a construction worker, we would take care of our tools of the trade. We would want them sharp and ready to go. And self-care does that for social workers because we are the tool of our trade. So that is built right into the curriculum because when I was a younger social worker just starting out, I didn't benefit from that in my education. So it's something I brought into this program that really is at the heart of it because social work can't exist without social workers taking care of themselves.
And would there be resources to help them? Because I know that sometimes we might be too caught up that we forget that we need to take care of our own selves. But are there resources in an instance where we might have failed to do that to try to, I guess, recalibrate our emotions and our mind to go back in and do the work that we do?
Absolutely. So this is like a three-prong effect in our program. They actually have assignments where they have to take care of themselves. So that's built in. Two, we have at Galen University mental health counseling available free of charge for all Galen members, faculty, staff, and students alike. And as well, they have clinical supervision with Miss Janine, where they are building a safe place to bring up. Maybe I'm struggling with this specific client because they remind me of something I've gone through, and how do I work through that personally so I can be the best social worker for this client. So they really have this wraparound support in our program that I just feel like is such a unique thing when it comes to Galen University.
And it doesn't sound like this is a one size fits all. If I want to take the course or I want to study social work, are there areas yourselves might advise me, look, you would be stronger in this area, or you're a girl, you can do better here, or you're a man, you can do better here? Does that happen? Because we're not all the
Well,
same. We don't all think the same. We don't approach things the same. And the
well, it's very
diversity of the
much
issues.
it's very much unique and matched to the individual, not based on gender, but based on areas of interest and that constant supervision. If we, for some reason, found that a social work student was really struggling with one population, maybe because it was something they've gone through or just a misalignment, we would meet with them and reassess with them. It's collaborative if they should be brought to another field location. So it is very much individual based on this person, the students sitting in front of us, and we try to meet their needs as best as we can.
Of course, we do this, we go to university to study because at the end of the day, we want to make a living and make a career that will, benefit us economically. What's the market like in Belize within the private, public sector? Do you have an idea of what the demand is like and where you could fit in and make a living?
Absolutely. So the market is just growing because we now have masters of social workers in the country. Before graduating our 10 social workers, we had about a handful. So don't quote me on the exact amount, but just a handful. Even though our program has just been running for a year, our graduates have already had positions made for them. We have a graduate that's in a local school system that position was made for them specifically as a school social worker.
Okay.
We have our graduates going into moving into management and supervision roles that didn't exist before because the need was there, but we didn't have the human capacity. So yes, it is there, and it's just growing each day.
All right.
Are there areas in Belize that still need to be developed? I'm thinking about, um, I see movies and how these things happen in developed countries. You have counselors assisting couples that may have issues with their marriage, things like that. We're not that specialized yet, are we?
Ms. Cayetano, would you like this one?
We do have that in the country. There is this program, the EAP program that works with the government of Belize, and they have qualified therapists who address those specific presenting issues. And so we are looking at qualifying our own masters in social work students where they could join the group of practitioners providing those services. In fact, I know that they have recently hired one of our social work student at the MSW level. And so it's growing within the country.
But also in the private sector, what does the private sector look like for social workers?
Um, the private sector currently, the persons offering those services to the EAP are within the private sector. So the social workers would be able to practice privately in their own private practice, but they would have to get a license from the Ministry of Health to practice.
All right.
But there is an opportunity for them in the private sector if they choose to.
Okay.
Dr. Aguirre, I believe you had mentioned that there in schools it would be advisable if you have someone who would have a background, a degree in social work. Now, let's say that there are schools across the country who may have someone that they might seem that would benefit from this, that would then benefit the school by that, but they are unable to attend like a full-time on a full-time basis. Is there the opportunity for them to still be able to work at that school while still work towards getting this degree?
Absolutely, and there's a few ways to do this. We do have a part-time pathway option, but also we've had people who've worked in schools already who we work out a deal with the school where they are given this set number of hours to conduct master's level social work activities for their field placement. So there is the option to do your field placement at your place of employment, as long as we get the agreement from the organization. They guarantee that they're happy to give you those hours. We supervise you. So that really works for that working professional, whether it's in a school system, whether it's in a governmental office or something else. So it allows those people to stay in their job because we know it's so important to have your job and make your money. We need to survive, but also have that hands-on learning experience. So they can go part-time, or if the school allows or wherever they're working allows and it's actually a social work oriented position, it could be in a school, right? They are able to do that right in their placement. So we, like I said, we said before, we really work with the individual to try to make education as accessible as possible, because this program was developed to help stop that brain drain, to try to get to keep more qualified social workers here in Belize, because we deserve the best of the best as well.
Is university accepting applications now?
Absolutely. Please get your application in as soon as possible, because once you're accepted, we have you speak with Ms. Cayetano to get that field placement planning started. You can apply by the end of the month, Friday, August 29th, and we really look forward to having you in our program, and we always have a spot for you.
Okay, so you have spaces available. What's the deadline?
August 29th. So
August
please work
29th.
on those applications and get those in.
Okay. If you don't get in now, when's the next opportunity?
So we do a cohort model. So we start every September. So it would be 1 year from now.
Anything we left out, ladies? Yeah, I would love to talk to you more about all the issues we have in Belize and what is the biggest problem we have, because it reflects on our social status and standing. And I mentioned earlier about being happy, and it does affect our happiness. So we do need social workers, especially the prevention part.
I think we covered a lot this morning in a short period of time. And I just wanted to say that if you are watching and you feel like you would like to make a positive change in Belize, reach out. Even if you can't start today, we'd love to have a conversation with you. And there's always a spot for you at Galen University.
Okay. Before, just a thought. Someone who's retired, retirement age is at 55. I may have some time on my hands now. Can I follow up a program in this area at Galen? Is there a certificate program or a beginner's program or something to get me started or just to get involved, maybe with a small group or something? Is that possible?
Well, we do not have a certificate program at the moment, but they could definitely start part-time if they feel like they'd like to just, dip their toes into it, get
That's
back
right.
into education. But we take students. We had a student who graduated last year who was in the field of social work for 20 years, so out of education system for quite a long time. So we really do cater to those coming back to education or even the younger generation who are just continuing their education. So no matter where you are, you have a spot at Galen University.
Ladies, thank you very much. Dr. Christia De Guerre and Janine Cayetano, thank you, ladies, for starting off our morning, right? With some
Yes,
good
sir.
advice,
Yes.
right, Rich?
I agree.
I feel better now.
I do too.
Right. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
enjoy
Happy
your day.
Friday.
I guess you're
Alright.
both in Cayo,
Yes, we are.
beautiful part of the country. Thank you, folks, and thank you for being with us. We'll continue on the morning show in just a few minutes after this break.